Welcome to How To with Husqvarna, where we show you how to take care of some of your favorite Husqvarna equipment. In this video, we're going to show you how to perform routine maintenance on your Husqvarna riding lawnmower. Before you begin, refer to your owner's manual for details including the personal protective equipment needed to service your Husqvarna mower. If you need to locate an owner's manual, please visit Husqvarna.com. To service your mower properly, you'll need the right tools and original equipment service parts ready to go at your workstation. Remember, always use the right tools and parts for the job. You'll need the following tools: gloves, safety glasses, 2 wrenches, sized to battery terminal, bolt, and nut, a 3/8 drive spark plug socket, sized to the spark plug, a 3/8 extension, and a 3/8 ratchet, pliers, an oil drain pan, an oil funnel, a small wedge of wood to lock the blade in place if you're removing it, a half-drive foot-pound torque wrench and half-drive socket sized to the blade bolts, a 00 grease and grease gun, shop towels. You'll also need the following service parts: an OEM spark plug, an OEM air filter and pre-filter, an OEM fuel filter, 2 or more quarts of engine oil. Check the operating manual for engine oil specifications, OEM blades and blade bolts if needed. Park your mower on a solid, level surface. Disengage the PTO switch or lever and lower the mower deck. Engage the parking brake. Switch off and remove the ignition key. Lift the hood and disconnect the negative battery cable. This keeps the engine from turning over by accident while you're working. Make sure the engine is cooled down before you go to work. Put on safety glasses and use a compressed air nozzle around the spark plug. This keeps contaminants from getting into the engine. Remove the spark plug cap. Just twist and pull it. Inspect the cap in boot condition. Look for cracks or arc flash damage. Replace the cap if you see any damage. Use the ratchet, extension, and plug socket to loosen and remove the spark plug, turning counterclockwise. Get a new spark plug, then check and set the plug gap according to the engine manufacturer's specification. Thread the new plug into the cylinder head by hand, then run it down until it bottoms out and tighten a 1/4 turn. Reinstall the spark plug cap. Repeat these steps on the other cylinder for 2-cylinder engines. Remove the air filter cover. Put on safety glasses and block the air intake. Use compressed air to blow dirt and debris out of the air filter base and housing. But remember, never use compressed air to clean out a filter because it may damage the filter and let particulates pass through the filter into the engine. Install a new air filter and new pre-filter if you have one. Reinstall the air filter cover. Put on gloves, then inspect the fuel and fuel tank for any contaminants. Then clean, drain, or flush them if they need it. Follow all applicable laws and regulations when disposal of contaminated or degraded fuel is required. Turn off the fuel valve if it's equipped. If it's not equipped with an inline fuel valve shutoff, clamp the fuel line to keep the fuel from flowing. Use pliers to remove the fuel line clamps from the fuel filter. Just slide them back but leave them on the line. Twist and pull the fuel line off the filter one side at a time. Install the fuel filter in the right flow direction. If the filter has an arrow, point it in the direction the fuel flows to the carburetor. Reinstall both lines to the filter. Use pliers to move the clamps back on the filter. Put on gloves, then remove or open the dipstick to vent the engine crankcase. Set the drain pan under the engine drain spout. Remove the drain plug cap and set the funnels to route the oil to the pan. Twist and pull it, and drain the engine oil into the pan. When the engine oil is fully drained, remove the funnel and pan Then reinstall the drain plug cap. Fill the oil to full as indicated on the engine dipstick. Reinstall the dipstick. Hook up the negative battery terminal, then start and run the engine for 15 to 30 seconds. Recheck the oil, top it off if needed, then disconnect the negative terminal again. Use the grease gun with standard all-purpose 00 grease to grease all fittings on the front end and mower deck. Refer to the owner's manual to see how to service the grease points and hour intervals for optimum performance. Locate and pump several shots of grease into both front axle spindle zerk fittings, the front wheel bushing zerks if equipped, and check for front axle pivot bushing zerk grease if equipped. Grease all 3 deck mandrels if equipped with zerk fittings. As the grease packs tight, you'll notice a slight resistance in the grease gun handle. When the resistance increases, you know the bearings and grease reservoir is packed, and you can move to the next grease point. Note: people may set the tire pressure to their personal preference. As a general rule, your lawnmower tire pressure should be somewhere between 10 psi and 20 psi. Some prefer less pressure in the front than in the rear. Others like to keep the tires even all the way around. Just remember to keep both the right and left sides evenly matched. Put on safety glasses and use compressed air on the tire chuck PSA gauge to check and set tire pressure evenly on both sides. Set the tires to the PSI recommended in the owner's manual. Park your mower on a stable, level surface. Use the deck tension arm to loosen the drive belt. Note the locations of and remove the pins and washers from the front deck lift arm. Note the location and remove the pins and washers from the deck lift arms. Note the location and remove the rear deck hangers. Some are held with pins, others by the weight of the deck. Slide the deck out from under the mower and prop it up against a wall for easy access. Check the deck belt. Visually inspect the V-belt, looking for weather and dry rot cracks, burnt spots, thin spots, or any visible damage. Remove the tension from the belt and spin each idler to make sure the bearings aren't tight or gritty. They should spin smooth and free. Replace any worn belts or pulleys as needed. Check the mandrel bearings left to right and side to side, then spin them. Inspect the blades. If the lifts are worn, thinning or cracking, or the edge corners are severely rounded, then the blade needs to be replaced. If the blades are still in good condition and need to be sharpened, we recommend taking them to your local Husqvarna dealer for professional sharpening. Use a small wedge of wood to hold the blade while removing and installing the blade if needed. Remove the blade bolts by rotating the bolts counterclockwise. If the bolts need to be replaced, we recommend using OEM bolts. See your owner's manual for details. Reinstall the blades. Position the blade lifts up toward the deck. The star blade centered on the mandrels. Start the blade bolts by hand to hold the blade in place, then torque the blade bolts to 45 to 55 foot-pounds with a calibrated torque wrench. If the mandrels have grease zerks, apply a few pumps of grease to them. Make sure the belt is routed correctly before putting the deck under your mower. Once you slide the deck under your mower, attach the front hanger, attach the rear hangers, attach the deck lift arms. Reattach the belt around the engine pulley and clutch. Use the snips to trim a stick to about 4 to 5 inches. Mark the stick increments of ½ inch or 1 inch to make it easy to fit under the deck and point fully upright. Park the machine on a flat level surface. Check and note the maximum cut height for your mower. Put the deck in the highest cutting position, not the travel position. Inflate all the tires to the proper pressure as shown on the sides of the tires. Turn the blades side to side. Use the measuring stick to measure at the cutting tips of the blades to determine which way the deck needs adjusting. Then adjust as needed. Some machines have adjusters on both sides, while others have just one. After making adjustments, recheck both sides for level and repeat as needed. After leveling side to side, turn the blades front to back. With a measuring stick, check the blades at the tips at the front and rear. The tip of the blade at the front of the machine should be 3/8 to 1/2 inch lower than the rear to create proper airflow and a beautiful cut. Some machines have an adjuster on the front hanger. Others will need to be adjusted by turning the two rear adjusters at equal increments so that the side-to-side level is not upset. After adjusting, check and repeat as needed. Run, test, and clean up. Once you've completed all the service procedures, reconnect the negative battery terminal. It's also a good idea to clean the battery terminals. Just apply a terminal spray or dielectric grease to help guard against corrosion. Double-check the oil level, then top it off as needed. Run and test the engine and mower operation for a few minutes. Engage the blades and take it for a drive to ensure that everything works like it should. Clean up your machine and workstation. We hope this video helped you understand how to properly service your Husqvarna riding lawnmower. Remember, proper maintenance will help you maximize the performance and extend the life of your Husqvarna equipment. To learn more about keeping all your equipment on the cutting edge of performance, check out all of our How To with Husqvarna videos online. And thanks for choosing Husqvarna.